many, many things about at this time, but who's controlling who? And what I think we're seeing is the breaking down of the old energetic construct, which is going to allow the new one to replace it as the correction comes in. And a lot of people are going to go through challenging times, not least economically, as we lose our attachment and obsession with things and start to live life in a different way. And there's this wonderful line from an old 60s song, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. And it's true. While we're attached to things, and we have something to lose because we're so attached to it, we cannot be free. The attachment stops us being free. We can have things as long as we're not attached to them. And we're not attached to the world of things never changing, because that's what it does. That's its role, constantly changing. The only thing that doesn't change is infinite love is the only truth. And we got the opportunity now to see some of the challenges that are coming in terms not of, oh, it's so terrible, but, hey, the old paradigm's breaking down. And we've got now the opportunity to go with a new one. Just when, it's an old proverb, just when the caterpillar thought life was over, it became a butterfly. And often it's just at the point where you think there's nothing else you can do, and it's all over and it's all finished. It's happened to me a few times in the last 20 years. Suddenly, you become a butterfly. You overcome it. You realize you're much greater than you thought you were, because the challenge has taken you to that point where you could make that leap. So, we're starting to wake up. What can we do practically, I guess, in the play-out world? Well, this is a good one. Stop making excuses. You know, the human mind, because it doesn't want to change, it doesn't want consciousness to become the governor of perception. It wants to hold on to its power base, and it will make endless excuses why we should not do what is necessary to become conscious and bring mind into line. It will find endless reasons why we shouldn't do things we'd rather not do, but really we feel we need to do them, so we'll find an excuse why we can't do it. We'll find an excuse why, oh no, there's a big game on this week, so I'll wait till next week, and then I'll wait till the next week. And nothing ever changes, because we're making excuses not to change. I really want to change, honest, but not this week. And we can stop making excuses for looking the other way when basic freedoms are being taken away. And crucially, humanity, human race, can get off its bloody knees. We have been down there in so many different forms all the way through this period of slavery, and the reason overwhelmingly we've been through this period of slavery is because we found it so easy to get on our knees. We need to stop looking up at anything and start looking everything in the eye, because nothing is greater than we are, and we are no greater than anything else, because we are all in the end the same consciousness. Martin Luther King, a man cannot ride your back unless it's bent. We cannot be controlled if we get up off our knees. One of the things we can do very practically, I would not only encouraging young people to do this, but to have adults that are beyond the age of joining the military in drafts or whatever, to support those young people in every way possible who say, I am consciousness, I don't do killing anything, never mind for the people who are seeking to use that killing to enslave humanity. I will not serve in the military. Stuff your draft. I'd rather go to prison first. And I tell you, there are some fantastic young people in Israel. Israelis who refuse to serve in the Israeli military and do what they're doing to the Palestinians. Why? Because those Israeli young people are conscious enough not to allow the mind of fear of consequences of not following the draft into the military to stop them expressing their true feelings and their true nature, which is, I will not contribute to this slaughter and injustice. Put me in jail, but you're not going to put me with a gun in my hand in front of people I have no problem and no argument with. Wonderful people are doing that in Israel. As they used to say in the 60s, if someone had a war, what would happen if no one turned up? There'd be no war. It's because we just follow what these people declare and we make the war. People fighting each other and killing each other, who left alone in a bar would probably get on great. Oh really? Do you do that in your culture? That's interesting. You want to come to America, I'll show you around. That's what will be going on. But because we follow the manipulation through mind and fear of not following it, we go and kill people we have no argument with. The pioneers of a warless world, or the youth that refuse military service. Albert Einstein, absolutely. It's time to let go of fear. Consciousness doesn't do bloody fear. Mind does fear. We're consciousness, therefore we can choose our own journey and our own direction. We don't have to be dictated to by idiots, brain donors, in dark suits who dictate to us what we can and cannot do. Love is brilliantly polarized here with hate in this picture, and we have a choice between the two. Hate is what mind does. Love, in its true sense, is what consciousness does. That's the choice. So rioting and fighting the system is just playing in the system's arena. It's playing on in the stadium that it dominates. What's the point in that? You know, we're not going to, and should not even consider, I would suggest, fighting the system. The system holds all the aces there. It's got all the weaponry anyway. And if we fight, we become what we're fighting. Draws us in. It's like Martin Luther King said, the limitation of riots, moral questions, society is that they cannot win. And their participants know it. But more than that, when you riot, when you fight something, you become what you're fighting. And, you know, we can protest, and we can protest, and we've protested, and we've protested. There was 1 million people on the streets of London protesting at the plan to invade Iraq. They invaded Iraq and killed so far in excess of 1 million people. There are endless protests all over the world against globalization and its injustices. Globalization gets faster. There are endless protests against world poverty, and world poverty just expands. You know, instead of protesting and then going home or going down the bar and feeling good about ourselves because we protested, we need to come together and stop cooperating with the system that is enslaving us and depends on our cooperation to survive. And I would say this, you know, divide and rule. That's how they control a mass of people. They divide and rule them along the fault lines, manufactured fault lines of religion and race and income bracket and all the rest of it, and country and whatever, and culture. And therefore they divide and rule the unity, and therefore the few can control the many, which are in a state of disunity and conflict. And let me make this point to people who think that's a good idea. This is not a conspiracy to enslave Jewish people, or Muslim people, or middle-class Americans, or Hindus, or Australians. This is a conspiracy to enslave the entire human family. Therefore, if we do not come together and in unity and mutual support behind that which affects us all, i.e. our freedoms are being taken away by the day, then let's Symbolically,